What the fuck? Where am I? What? Hello?
Please help me, please.
What? I mean, I don't know how. I mean... Oh my god, are you okay? What the fuck are you doing? Wait, stop shouting. What the fuck? Can you please stop fucking shouting? Stop fucking shouting, you piece of shit.
Endacopia.
Endacopia is an indie point-and-click game where you play as this little goober. The game is really short and it's in demo as of now. Today I will be covering the demo and trying to explain the lore and what we should expect. And also, thank you for 1,000 subscribers, bro. What the fuck? You guys fucking rock, bro. Holy shit. The game begins and it goes over the basic mechanics. Move up and down, have an option to interact with objects, observe the objects, and ask yourself how you're feeling. You click leave and this happens. The little goober gets up and now you can play as him.
Aw, that's so cute.
It appears that we are in some sort of room, maybe our room, but something feels a bit strange, as if we don't really belong here.
You will be punished for your sins.
In the room, there's a clock with eyes and a bunch of other strange things. You can freely move around and interact with objects within the room. You also hear cluttering noises and you need to investigate what's going on. You can click on yourself and see how you feel about each object and see how this little goober reacts to them. If you click on the soccer ball, he says, "Hello soccer ball, you frustrating yet excitingly sphere." That's so fucking cute. If you interact with the chair, the goober says, "Hello spinny chair, you're my second best friend."
Aw, this little fucker is so cute.
If you observe yourself, the goober says, "I'm feeling amnesic," which means that he feels like he has a total loss of memory. And this little sentence will tie later into the game. Bro, I'm not MatPat. Why am I trying to give a game theory? Anyways, you can interact with the clock and it just stares at you, monitoring your movements in a very creepy and eerie way. This game has a way of making you feel uneasy, as if the game knows that you, the player, are controlling the character. You can interact with the paper on the ground and the little guy says, "I wish I could read." This is indicating that he's genuinely a child and he's most likely below the age of 7, since he can't read or write. He's basically the most oldest Astro Speed fan. If you click on the computer plug, the little goober grabs the plug and turns the computer on. Once you sit down and interact with the computer, we load into Macrotough. fucking Macrotough. As the computer loads, we see two accounts, Henry and Melo.
Just log in as Henry. Fucking excuse me.
You can't log into Henry's account, so you just click on Melo. And once you do that successfully, you log in. This means that this little goober's name is Melo, and he's living in a house with a person named Henry. Who's Henry, you ask? That's a very good question. If you click on the blah 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 folder, you see 4 files titled Counting, Truck, and Henry. If you click on the file that says Henry, this image appears.
Alphys, what happened to you?
The one on the left that looks like if Dr. Alphys had a Discord server is Henry. We'll get into the juicy parts of the character very soon, just bear with me. If you click on the other file called Counting JPEG, we see a picture of Melo in a room by himself, trying to learn how to count. His head is a bit mushed and he's thinking of a bat. Does this indicate that Henry is trying to make Melo learn how to count? Is Henry the reason why his head is mushed? And what does that make Henry? Is he a relative, a kidnapper, or a friend? If you click on the truck JPEG, we see what appears to be a drawing of some sort. A bunch of guys in a truck throwing off another person from a vehicle. This may seem like the people in the truck abandoning or dropping off this mysterious person. The way I see it is that this could be Melo. He was abandoned or kidnapped and Henry just took him inside his house. That kind of makes sense and it kind of ties back to the Henry JPEG. But like I said, we're gonna get into the juicy parts after we're done analyzing the full game. If you click on the final file titled, this happens.
Jesus Christ.
This is an interesting file. I mean, why would Melo, this little goober, keep such a file on this computer? What does it mean and what's the purpose of this file? You can exit the folder and access the other folder that has gibberish as a title. This is something a child would name, which further shows the innocence and maturity of Melo. Once you open the file, we see an exe file titled doors. As you click on it, the program loads up and it gives us 3 doors. 2 of them are locked, but 1 is open. If you click on the door that's not locked, it disappears and appears in your room, allowing you to leave the room and progress throughout the game. Once you enter the new area, you see a sleeping sign. You can try to interact with the sign, but Melo says you'd rather not bother him. If you ask Melo how he feels, he says that he feels like he's being watched.
I see you. There are universes beyond my own.
You walk through the room and you see bizarre paintings, but this one specific painting is looking at Melo, tracking all of his movements. If you interact with this door in the middle that says do not open, this happens. Yeah, Melo probably got brain damage after that. The sign wakes up and he's very angry. He's very frustrated at the fact that he got woken up, so Melo interacts with him. And the sign tells him off, asking why the hell did he startle him. Melo is now given the dialogue options. You can either say no, say yes, say it wasn't you, or say that you couldn't help it. If you say that it wasn't you, the sign says, oh, how silly of me. Let me take a look at who else could have done it. Oh wait, you're the only one in the hallway. After he crashes out on Melo, we're given more options. Once you ask if he's supposed to be helpful, he introduces himself. The sign's name is Tip, and he gives off this friendly vibe that could indicate that he'll help us in the future to guide Melo and give him hints on solving puzzles. You can ask for a tip, and Tip says... Jesus. You ask Tip for a tip. Anyways, Tip says that there's something strange coming from the bathroom and we should check it out. You can also tell Tip that you prefer mouthless signs, and he gets hurt at that comment and then goes away. You disgusting freak.
Oh, lad, you can't say that.
You then go to the bathroom and you see something red in the toilet. You pick up the plunger and use it on the bathroom, and this happens. You ask it who he is, and he says, boy, they hit you hard on the head this time. Say, do you want to go on an adventure, kid? You ask the red thing what kind of adventure, and he says, the kind that gets you out of this place. This makes me think that the red thing isn't evil nor aggressive, but he's a neutral-sided character. This character kind of feels bad for the kid for being hit on the head and forgetting major events. This also ties back to Henry, since the only person that smacks Melo in the head would logically be him. And since Henry smacks the little goober on his head, he lost majority of his memory. Once you accept the red thing's offer, you get tasked to enter a password.
Wait, what? Okay.
You now have to find out what the password is and get out of here. As you try to go back to your room, you encounter Tip again, but when you interact with him, he's still upset at you. You're given the choice to apologize, and when you do, he forgives you. You tell Tip that you have no idea what's going on, and Tip says that he also has no clue. He says that he was in his mother's lawn and Henry just randomly kidnapped him. This supports the possibility that Henry most likely also kidnapped or took Melo and took him in his house. You even ask about Henry, and Tip even confirms that Henry smashed Melo's head so hard that he forgot about a lot of things. This ties back to the counting JPEG file, where it shows Melo with a mushed head thinking about the bat that Henry uses as a form of punishment. Once you finish talking with Tip, you can now go back to your room. As you explore the room, you can finally interact with the painting, but something's wrong. The painting is throbbing.
What the fuck?
There's a strange creature behind your drawing. If you ask what it is, he doesn't give you a satisfactory answer. If you ask what does it want, he just says he's hungry. And if you ask what does he eat, he just says coins. And if you ask why do you want to feed him, he says that he'll give you the password. So the task is, give the creature some coins. To get the coins, what you have to do is open up the window and crawl through the vents. But the issue is, it's locked. What you have to do is you have to sit on the chair, spin clockwise, causing the little window to open up. Once you enter the vent, you see some skeletons and fossils above you and also below you. As you go down the vent, you fall down and end up in the kitchen. Henry heard a loud noise and Melo quickly has to hide. If you fail to hide just in time, then you get hit in the head by Henry, restarting the game.
Shit.
Once you hide, Henry comes in and asks you, the player, where is Melo?
What? What the fuck?
Games breaking the fourth wall is really interesting because it kind of leaves me very startled. You purposely choose the wrong location and Henry walks off angry, saying that he should teach us some manners. We now see that Henry is truly a massive monster that does seem like the abusive type. The thing is, Henry doesn't kill Melo, but just bonks him in the head if he misbehaves, almost like a strict foster parent. Once Melo comes out, he acknowledges you and he thanks you, and he refers to you as a guardian angel, breaking the fourth wall. If you click on the fridge magnets, they get reordered and they spell the eyes see, implying that the paintings do track our movements and our actions don't go unnoticed. There's a picture on the left side of the room and you can interact with it, and it says that it's easy as 1, 2, 3, which is an answer to the fridge puzzle. Once you interact with the fridge, you see a lot of locks on it. You basically have to use the hammer, break the glass, enter the domino combination, and then you have to do the basic shape puzzle. I definitely didn't struggle on this, fucking bastard. After you do all the puzzles, you now have access to the cheese. You have to go back up in the vents.
Whoa, 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 come on!
Go to your room and put the cheese on the ground. After you wait a little, a cockroach comes out and you have to squash it. You collect the coins and you have to feed it to the wall creature. The creature tells us that the password is Cheshire, and now we know what we need to get out of here. But something interesting happens.
What?
Your time is over.
We now enter a boss fight. We get in a fight with the clock and we have to block his attacks, and attack when his head is really close to us. He attacks 3 times and it could be random. Sometimes it could be on the left, the right, and in the middle. Once you lose the fight, you realize that you're an utter failure and you should do it again. Mom, it's just shut the fuck up. I lost purposely, okay? The clock gets knocked out and Melo becomes cocky. But as soon as you give the red thing the password, he sucks you in and brings you down inside the toilet. What the fuck is this game, bro? You reached the end of the demo. Good job. That's all there is to it. Well, no, it's not the end. You can interact with a painting after you beat the living shit out of the clock, and this happens. You discover a strange person working on what it seems to be a child. You ask who it is, and this happens. His song is a bit disturbing if you genuinely pay attention to the lyrics. He loved 2 people, so he put them together. The game never states if the women loved them back, but that's the problem. This makes the doctor seem like a mad evil scientist that caused 2 women to experience pure agony. You ask what happened to the bride and he says, underground, implying that the women didn't survive, and the doctor was the cause of their death. You ask what he's doing and he says he's working on a side project. He implies that he puts life into objects such as Clocky. Once Melo finds out that he created Clocky, he tells him that we killed him, and he has no care in the world. Clocky served his purpose, and so will you too. Does this hint that the doctor has something to do with Melo? Does this hint that he maybe created him? Why would he say that we would also have a purpose? As if he's trying to put us in the same category as Clocky. But there's one more thing the game hides from you. As you fall into the abyss, Melo says that he's cold. You see objects, a scalp, a hair comb, a sock, and a book. As you acquire a candle, you can interact with the objects again, and you get some disturbing images. The first image seems to be two women that are merged together. This is the same woman that the doctor was talking about. The doctor did all this, and it shows that he has a cruel and twisted nature. He conducted some cruel experiments, and it's really disturbing. We then see corpses of one of the women. If you go over to the scalp, you get flashed with the most disgusting image I've ever seen. What the fuck is that? Why? What the fuck, bro? You then stand still in front of a door for a little while, and as it opens, you enter. You come across the two women that were being experimented. The doctor wasn't being as truthful as he was, but he wasn't lying either. They were underground. As you get closer, you have the option to interact with her, but as you even lay a finger on her, she screams. The more you interact, the worse her scream gets, until... Game shuts down.
What the fuck?
Before the game shuts down, a binary code is given. Using the binary code translator, the hidden message is, "Oh Lord, we love how you suffer." This is... wow. The game is truly great, and I genuinely believe that once the full game is released, it will take the internet by storm. It has so much potential, lore-wise and game mechanic-wise. Let's talk about what we know and what could happen. We're introduced to the 6 characters: Melo, Henry, Tip, the Doctor, the Red Thing, and the 2 women on the ground. Melo is a little kid who possibly got kidnapped and abandoned at Henry's house. This explains the image of people in the truck dropping off a person, and I strongly believe that Henry is linked to the picture. Once the kid got dropped off, Henry was taking a picture with the boy, and he smacked him in the head so Melo could forget. Melo time to time remembers the bat that Henry uses, and he worries about breaking the rules or misbehaving. If he gets hit too many times, he loses memory. The question arises, why does Henry do this, and is he evil? Let's focus on the evil part. If he was truly evil, he would have killed Melo in the very beginning, but he didn't, and he even told the boy to learn how to count. Melo has a computer in his room, and Henry is aware of it, since he also has an account on it as well. I do think that Henry is this monster that does take Melo in, and clearly not caring if Melo wants to live with him or not. Henry, despite Melo misbehaving, he doesn't kill him. I do think that Henry has a heart, and he might have a certain moral code that he follows. Sure, he'll punish Melo and give him dementia every time he takes a mean swing at his head, but to say that he hates the kid and wants him dead, I just think that's not adding up. Why does he do this? Well, maybe because he lost someone close to him, and wants to replace the hole he has in his heart with Melo. Maybe he thinks that owning Melo in the house is a good thing, and he just wants the best for him. Henry doesn't look like a young man. I mean, he doesn't even look like he has good vision, and his outfits are very similar of a grandmother. He has a sense of decency. I mean, if Henry was a mindless monster, he wouldn't be covering up, would he? But nonetheless, I do think that Henry is an antagonist. Now let's talk about the Doctor. The Doctor, in my opinion, is the most evil being we saw in this game. A man who claims to be too good and way ahead of his time, but in reality, he is a mad scientist. A person who thinks that they can play God and create and destroy things, for the sake of curiosity and science. The Doctor is keeping the 2 girls alive, letting them endure unfathomable suffering, all in the name of love and science. I do think that this character would be playing a very big part of the story, and maybe he could even be the main antagonist. To be honest, I don't think Henry has any idea of the Doctor's presence. I mean, why would he want a random insane doctor in his house conducting weird experiments? Tip, I also think, will play a big role in the story too. In the trailer and in other videos, he's seen in the gameplay where Melo is actually outside, clearly following Melo, trying to guide him place to place. Think of it as a partner that guides you through the journey. That's all we have regarding Endacopia, and I hope that we will get this game during the summer, maybe even late December. But I also will be planning on working on an aftertale video, the Undertale AU series, alongside with Frambo and other indie games. Anyways, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. I love you. Mwah.